Bear with me. I'm trying to figure out why the camera is not working. For some reason, camera's not correct. Is not I think I figured it out. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so I apologize for that delay there. I'm super excited. Thank you so much for tuning in to Wife University, our live webinar here, inspiring you to be have a posture of a wife and beyond the position. I know that oftentimes we associate the word wife with the position of being married, which is definitely true. I do not want to by any means take away from that at all. But I do want, women to be more prepared, for the position, to understand that it definitely goes beyond, just the I do, beyond the ceremony. There's a lot of different things that I've heard in regard to preparing yourself into being in the position of a wife. One being, depending on what the woman is doing, she's encouraged to not, give too much to the man before she gets married. She's also, there's also the opposite, where women are definitely encouraged to begin to demonstrate this wife behavior so that, that the male, the person, their spouse or whatever can say, okay, I know what it is that I'm getting myself into. And so, however, what I believe this is centered around for me was centered around the scripture that says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. Now, when I heard that, I was intrigued because this really challenged my thinking. To think about that a little bit further would cause for me to wonder if she was already a wife when he met her. So that's where this whole Wife University derived from. That we were meant to be wives, so that when he finds us, right, we are already in that position. And then the scripture continues on and says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. Well, I believe that what made it a good thing was the fact that she was already a wife when he found her, right? It wasn't a scenario where he had to help her prepare. She was still getting dressed, right? Getting ready for the position, or even ready for the posture. But that was the way he found her. And therefore, the good thing was connected to her already been ready. So that's what Wife University is around and is about, is really empowering and employing and encouraging women to have a posture of being a wife, even beyond your position. So if you're single, if you're married, if you're dating or not, if you're divorced, it doesn't matter. I just really want to inspire you to have a heart posture and the mindset and the character of what it means to be a wife. So with that said, let's get started. So today, we are going to talk about, or basically it's going to be an intro to the wife intro. And basically, how do we begin to prepare ourselves or position ourselves, our hearts, our mind, and our character to have the posture of a wife? Well, the first thing I'd like us to do is think about our examples. Think about the women that we've seen in our life, whether they were married or unmarried, that we thought were very good examples. And then I want you to think about, maybe there were women in your life who probably weren't the best example that you may feel. There's also scenarios where some women grew up without mothers, so that position wasn't filled as far as to the best role model or a good role model. I want us to consider all of these various things, because in us walking forward in this, we have to kind of know where we've come from, right? This impacts what we think about ourselves. This impacts what we think about what it means to be a wife, because sometimes we look at wives and we think, oh my gosh, that is not what I want to be. That is not what I want to do. That is not the way that I believe a wife should be, or should, or how she should look. So I really want us to consider that. And whether good or bad, even for ourselves, because we've got people who have been married. We've got, because I myself, I'm divorced, and yet and still, it doesn't change the fact, right, that we're like, listen, I still want to be able to walk in a standard of this position of being a wife. I want to be able to, like you say, like we oftentimes say, like, I want to be a good example of that. So what I want us to do is I want us to first start off by forgiving ourselves and those examples. Forgive them for, the examples that we probably feel we missed out on. Forgive ourselves for anything that we have done that we felt like we could have done better. Maybe we felt like, our opportunity to be a wife or be a good wife has not ever been given. And for that, we may feel like, well, there's something I'm doing wrong, or there's something I should do more. Well, I want you to forgive yourself and know that I don't believe that that has anything to do with it. I would really want you to be empowered that even in your singleness, you can, you will definitely, be able to still have joy in the place and the position that you're currently in. The next thing I want to do, or that we're going to discuss is again, what it means to be a wife, right? It goes beyond the position. And what, again, we started out talking about the scripture that this connected to, which was, the scripture that says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing, right? And so let's talk about that preparedness. Talk about what it means to really have a posture of a wife, what it means to be prepared. And so you think about, let's say if we were getting dressed, we would, put our clothes on. Of course, we want to make sure that our makeup is on, our hair is done. We want to, accessorize in whatever way we choose. And, and this is what we consider ready. Now, here's the thing. Most of us will not leave the house without being fully ready, right? I'm not ready for you to take me anywhere until I am fully dressed, completely dressed and ready, right? So in the same way, I want us to take on that same mindset, that we don't want to excel or move without being ready. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure that we give ourselves the opportunity and the time that's needed to be fully ready and fully dressed in the position and the posture of being a wife. And so with that being said, time is of the essence, of course, but we don't know how much time it's going to take. So I don't want you to think that because one person may feel that their readiness is going to be live and in effect, in the next, let's say, month or two. I don't want us to, rush that, because we're feeling like, well, I may need more time. Nor do I want you to prolong it because you feel like someone else is more ready. Is not as ready as you are, So with that being said, I want you to really take a really good evaluation as to where you are right now, whatever it is you've experienced, whatever it is that you've encountered or anything like that, to make sure that you give yourself enough time, right? Because maybe there's hurts, maybe there's disappointments, maybe again, it's the examples that we lack. Or any of that. I want you to really make sure you give yourself, you consider yourself and where you truly are. So that is one of the things that, I would like to make a note of, is that for you to really make a real true assessment as to where you are right now in your mind. Do you think that you are ready, as far as to the posture of a wife, not position? I'm not talking about getting married, but we're talking about having a heart and a mindset of what it means to be a wife. And what I believe it means to be a wife is, for one of the things I believe it means is to be a servant. I believe that, I kind of came up with this acronym of wife is women investing in future endeavors. So it goes beyond what you see today. It is definitely what you can consider, it's you considering not just this moment, but tomorrow. It's not just you considering what's been happening yesterday and last week, meaning, hey, I've been working, I've been consistent in this area. I'm not just considering that, but considering, what the next endeavor looks like, considering the family, what family building looks like, considering, what every other component of your family, considering what they need and what that looks like. So we're investing in our future endeavors. Our children are our future. That's a constant. They're daily growing, right? Ourself is a part of our future as well. And, investing in ourselves, making sure that we're taking care of ourselves, making sure that we are taking care of us emotionally and spiritually and mentally, not just outside and the things that, we are, just not just outside, but definitely our heart place. And so in addition to that, the women investing in future endeavors and talking about being where we are as well as being aware of where we are. We talked about, the difference between, us, getting ready and being prepared and giving ourselves enough time so that we do not rob ourselves of enough of the preparation that we need. So pretty much those are really the key elements. One is forgiving ourselves and our role models. Two, I want us to be aware of where we are right now in this moment so that we can open ourselves up for new revelation, new growth, new lessons, new life experiences, so that we can better make sure that we are better prepared, and as well as get rid of some of the old habits, the old mindsets, the things that are preventing us from being open to the idea and the concept of being a wife. The other thing is understanding that wife is a woman that invests in future endeavors. So, are we considering more than ourselves? Are we considering more than just today? Finally, basically, I think that was it. I think those are the three key points I wanted to hit on: forgiving ourselves, knowing where we are, and then investing in who we are and all of the things that are around us, all of the future endeavors. Oh, and I spoke about wives being servants in the sense that you're selfless. I don't want us to think that being a wife means that I'm all about, hey, let me do for you, let me cook, let me clean, let me, go and prepare this for my kids. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about a heart that is willing to help, because the Bible references us as a helpmate. And so obviously to be a help, we have to be willing to step in where necessary. And that's essentially what it means to be a servant. Well, I hope that because these hangouts are not going to be extremely long. It's really just to share some information, like I said, to educate, empower, and to encourage you as a wife. Again, we want to make sure that we're empowering you to have the heart posture and go beyond the position. Thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to next week, where we will talk about the wife ID, right? The identity of a wife. We kind of laid out a little bit of the definition, what does it mean? But next week, we're going to discuss wife ID. Okay, who is it that you say you are? How are you identified to yourself? We want to definitely touch on that. And then finally, our last segment of this Wife University, the Wife ID series is Wife 3D or Wife 3 Ps, which we're actually going to look at being a wife, where we talk about the position, we talk about the posture, and then we also talk about the power of a wife. And so I look forward to you joining in next week. Make sure that you can you join our community on Facebook. We're at Wife University. We're definitely look forward to partnering with you. Again, it's a group and creating a community of elite women so that we can educate, empower, and encourage each other to basically take our rightful place. You know, we are definitely elite creatures. We're special, as we've heard. You know, we're complex, but not in a way that is less than a compliment at all. So I just want to make sure that we join and unite together to continue to be that encouraging and that empowerment for each other. Stay tuned. I'll see you next week, Wednesday. Again, this was Aqueela Maddox, the inspirationalist and founder of Wife University, otherwise known as Wife U. Have a great day.